Welcome everyone, back with the latest time trial video, where I go through my best lap and show you if I'm able to get gold driving in automatic. And hopefully show other drivers who attempt this in automatic that if I was able to be fast enough, then it can be done. Sometimes, I'm not fast enough, or the elite drivers make the gold target out of reach, and I'll have to switch to manual. I'll showcase those laps in these videos as well. I do all my driving on controller, and in time trials, I drive with assists on, which are countersteering, ASM, ABS, and traction if needed. I'm also using the braking area, apex markers, and chasing one of the leader's ghost. The second part of this video will be the chase cam view, so you can see the full position of the car through turns as I'm driving. With all that being said, let's jump right into the lap and show you how I did. This time trial is at Autopolis in the 2017 Honda NSX. For this trial, no assists were needed, especially since the NSX is 4-wheel drive and ABS is at default. Turn 1, I used the little orange box on the barrier, but braking a few meters before it, I let off at the last red bar of the area as I'm trail braking, let it coast for a second, and get back on the throttle at the apex. And you want to turn right pretty hard to avoid hitting the grass and losing speed. Second turn, I use the 100 board and start braking as it hits the edge of the screen. I let off just after I passed the last red bar and hit the throttle at the apex. Here, I just lift and use this part of the barrier as my marker, let it coast for a bit and start tapping the throttle to keep up my speed. On this hairpin, I use the fourth or middle red bar of the area. I let off after I passed the start of the curb. I did go a little too deep, but I managed to make it work. I go about 50% throttle until I'm rotated enough to go full out. For this bend, I use the second last bar, but it's just a quick brake, then let it coast for about half the turn, before I start getting back on the throttle. But I flooded the throttle until I can go full on the exit. And just be mindful on the exit, I found it easy to slide the car into an oversteer if you're not careful. For this left, I use the second arrow sign, but I'm braking just before it around this point. I let off after I passed the last red bar, let it coast to the apex, then start getting back on the throttle slowly until I can go full. For this right, I use the end of this fence. I let off as I pass over the last red bar, swing the car into the turn and hit the throttle around the apex. Then here, I just lift again, using the first red bar, then I just let it coast till the apex, before slowly getting back on the throttle until I can go full. And here again, I just lift, using the end of this orange part of the barrier, and back on the throttle before the apex. For this right, I use the middle or the third red bar, let off as I pass over the last bar, let it coast about halfway around the turn before I lightly get back on the throttle until I can go full. This left is another lift, and the start of the curb is my marker. I let it coast until I'm approaching the apex, then slowly back on the throttle until I can go full out. For the final section, I use the start of the curb as my marker, let off as I pass over the second last bar, let it coast about halfway around, then slowly get back on the throttle until I'm rotated enough to go full. I avoid cutting across the grass like the Ghost did, because it causes me to slide into an oversteer, and I either lose speed correcting or just slide towards the pit. With this lap, I managed to get a 1:58.014, over a second faster than the target time. I was hoping to break into the 1:57s, but this is good enough for me. Now I leave you with the chase cam view. Hope this video can help all my fellow automatic drivers get themselves that gold. Please like, comment and subscribe. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you, and see you in the next video.